Hello, gorgeous women. Just saging up the place while we get started. Welcome to day 2 of the Kintsugi masterclass. I'm so excited for today because it is all about repair. Hi, Lindsay. It is all about repairing. It's all about picking up the pieces, putting them together, and making something beautiful. Let me know if you are all caught up. Did you watch day 1 or are you tuning in and this is your day 1? For anyone that is tuning in and this is your first day, all you have to do is go up to the guides section, click guides, and day 1 will be right there. So you can watch that, but stay here, hang out with us, go through this journey, and then maybe work your way there. But I want to hear, how did your homework go yesterday? You know, I have some of the responses pulled up right here, and it's beautiful of just, you know, the beliefs that we hold for so long that keep us in our bowl, right? And it feels heavy and it feels safe at the same time and feeling like we're constricted. But how was that letting go process? I know that's something. I just got off of one of our labyrinth calls this morning, and I was chatting with the girls in there about, I do this all the time. Like, I woke up in like a funky monkey state this morning, and I was like, okay, and like took a shower, and like that's my cleansing ritual, just like that energy go down the drain. But also the writing it down and just like burning it is one of those things. So how we doing? Let me know. I don't know if the comments are working or not. We know Facebook is a wild one. This one will be running. I'm going to try and keep it to 60 minutes. I didn't even realize yesterday was 90 minutes. My apologies on the time. I'm going to try and keep it to 60 minutes. But yeah, as reminders, the playbook, the 3-day follow-up, that is on early bird until tomorrow at 12 p.m. So if you want to continue this conversation, it's really about how to recalibrate the nervous system and gain back our confidence again, just the play-by-play on doing that. You're going to want to do that. Oh, my note fell. And that one is currently $44. And then Gut Recharge, which is our metabolic restoration course, where you get lifetime access. That is 4 weeks with live Q&A coaching. We're going to talk about that more at the end. That is currently on early bird as well for $697. Payment plan is available for that. But if you're interested in that price also goes up tomorrow at 12 p.m. So just as a recap, we are covering Kintsugi because it's one of the most beautiful things of, you know, things fall apart so better things and more beautiful things can come together. And at the core, I really honestly truly view IBS recovery as this. My sticky notes are not wanting to stick today. I view IBS-Anxiety and recovery and all that kind of stuff just as that. It's a journey that brings a lot of fear, a lot of anxiety, a lot of rules, a lot of heartache, essentially. But in the end, it makes you one of the most beautiful things in this world. My goal for today is, whether you've been at this for a few months, weeks, and you're fresh new to this, or you've been at it for a decade, to walk away feeling like there's something. You know that the diets and the cracks and the things that we're told to believe just maybe aren't working, but that doesn't mean there isn't a solution. It just requires a different approach, and to walk away feeling like you're empowered and hopeful and all the good stuff. So you guys ready to dive in? Let me know. You guys are quiet today, or I can't see the comments. I don't know. Okay, so for today, let's see, where do I want to start? The approach for this one is a little bit different, right? So often when it comes to IBS, what we're told is elimination diets, restrictions. I watched day 1 today, thank you, but late, sorry. Love it. So, you know, we're often told restrictions, eliminations, medications, all this kind of stuff. We're not really given an opportunity to seek deeper. Like, I don't know about you, but like the first thing when I got diagnosed with IBS, I didn't start Googling how digestion works or the gut-brain connection or what inflammation does. Like, I didn't look into that stuff, essentially. I just what do I eat and what do I don't? You know, I didn't give it time. I didn't give it space. I went into feeling my human needing to fix the broken pieces because there's pain. You know, it's not fun when you can't poop or when you can't stop pooping. It's not fun when you have acid reflux that honestly feels like someone is ripping sandpaper through your esophagus. It's not fun when your clothes don't fit right. You don't feel confident. So it's only natural to want to escape that and to want to seek quick things. And so it's no one's fault that that's what we do. That's human nature, to get ourselves out of pain. But while we're in the process of healing, we also have to take a pause, right? And so we ended yesterday talking about time and how after the pieces fall, the hammer comes in from life, from situations, the pieces fall. And when we observe them, we can really see something beautiful. And so I want to start there. I want to start at the observation because this is where major trust starts to get implemented. You know, we have to build, we have to see like, okay, so these are the things that haven't worked. Do I trust myself to find the right one? Do I trust myself to lead me to where I need to go? I know for a long time I didn't. And so when they break the bowls and it's sitting there, what they do is then they observe it and they be patient. Before the human comes in, it's what is this feeling? How am I observing this? Maybe something like what you observed yesterday when you did the releasing ceremony, which I hope you did. Those feelings that come up without giving it any weight or meaning or if it's right or wrong, it's just information. Like, what is that came up? When we take that approach to IBS or anxiety, as opposed for it to mean something, as opposed for, that victim mentality or this weight that we carry with us for so long, as opposed to giving that meaning of it, good or bad, what would it mean to you if it was just like, it just is. It's just some pieces. It's just something in my life happened. There was a hammer. There was a trauma, big T or little t. And it broke me, but I'm okay. And let's just look at where these pieces fall now. After my mom passed and after my partner almost killed me, like it was these things where I wanted to fix it so quickly. So I did all the spiritual bypassing and all the nutrition bypassing, and I masked in everything because I didn't want to feel it. I didn't look at the pieces. I didn't observe it of like, how do I want to put these back together? How is this going to come back? Is it going to come back? Do I trust that it will? Will I be able to pick myself up after this? Will I be able to have normal relationships? Will I be able to eat normally? Will I be able to be exercise normally? Or everything in my life, is it going to be a trigger? Is it always going to be this way? Can you relate to those thoughts at all? And I remembered it. This is why just trying so many things comes into play without actually sitting and feeling and seeing if it's working. And this is how we get stuck in these vicious cycles of things not working. We're just trying to shove things in, and we need that part of us, right? Like, I'm not saying this is bad. We honestly do need that part because we need to figure out what works and what doesn't. This is why I think IBS and anxiety is a blessing, which is what I talked about yesterday. But when we're trying to put things together without actually, taking a second to look at it, what if we pick up the wrong piece? But we're just trying to glue it together using extra glue to put it together without actually feeling or seeing that it's not the right fit. So we have to look at it first. I watched day 1, thank you, a bit late, sorry I missed it live. I love the concept of the bowl and towel and that repairing trauma seems to be so important to money. I love that, Lindsay. Brady, the releasing ceremony was eye-opening. The amount of trauma we carry around is intense. Only when I wrote it down did I realize how much I've been carrying, right? It honestly feels like a backpack. You're like, but like on your front. Like you're just like, and so I'm curious to see how the rest of like today unfolds in this week when you finally put that weight down and you start to unfold what really starts to come up and as we repair. So after we observe, right? So after I took the pause, I realized all these things, they weren't necessarily working, but they kept me feeling safe. So I was like, okay, we can MacGyver this a little bit to make a bowl again. Not the best. But this is when they come into and they use glue, right? We start to use the glue, and glue essentially is just the alchemy of chemicals and holding it together. But we have to hold. We have to pause. We have to breathe. Who here loves quick fixes? Who here eats really quickly? Who here loves to get things done quickly? Who here feels like they are always in a rush? That is me. To a T. Like it's always, there's this song that I love to listen to because it's like, what's the rush? Because it's so true. We're always running and we're always trying different things, and we're not really making sure that it's actually a good fit, and we're just like snap, 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 snap. Oop, that didn't work, that didn't work, that didn't work, that didn't. Like it's doing all these things. But do you know how much inflammation that causes in our body? The lack of consistency, the lack of always going. Our body doesn't know that we're just anxious and we don't know how to sit still. Our body doesn't know that we're impatient or untrusting. Our enteric nervous system, what we touched on yesterday, doesn't know that. What she does know is something is not right. Because you are trying all these things and there's inconsistency, and all this inconsistency is what's causing this inflammation and this bloating and this retention and this lack of absorbing nutrients. Like that's the root. I remember when I was, I want to say 26 at this time, I had started to make massive moves in my healing. Like I've been a little more consistent with my bowel movements and all this kind of stuff, and I had healed my skin, but I still hadn't gotten a cycle. Because I lost my period for about 5 years, or just over 5 years, and then it wasn't consistent for 6.5. So it was 5 years in, I was 26, yeah, I lasted 21. And so even though I had gotten my digestion right, and I had gotten my, I'd been aware of my eating disorder, so I was working on it, but not really. I was just using health as a mask for it. And I was on this journey and trying to, but like nothing. I read like, do I have it over there? Woman Code, that's it. I read Woman Code, like it has, I'm looking at it on the bookshelf over there, like so many rips in it. I was trying all the fasts, I was doing all the things. It's like you opened my brain and you're it's like, I was trying all the things and doing all the cleanses and focusing on my liver, which was, all these things are important, right? But I never allowed it to become part of my lifestyle because everything was a diet. Maybe that lands for you. I never looked at what my lifestyle was doing to contribute to the fact that I still hadn't got my cycle. Because I still wasn't sleeping, because I thought I was biohacking. I was doing these cleanses, but they were like a week to 2 weeks, maybe 30 days. I was still feeling like a walking pharmacy, and like my pockets would jingle, and I'm like, I can't eat that without my enzymes. Like it was this whole thing. I was still crushing F45 workouts, and I was still lonely as hell. So it's like I was trying all these different things to find this place to belong, but nothing really made sense. I wasn't allowing the glue of my life to alchemize because I didn't try anything long enough because I wanted quick results. I didn't trust yet. I had no idea how to get there. And so I would move because it was so uncomfortable. You know, we talked about yesterday of like, we're checking the cookies and we're like, not done yet. But here's a story, actually. I think this is a good one. That my mentor told. So do you know how long it takes for a pineapple to grow? Because I did not until I learned this. So imagine someone is planting a field of pineapples. They're putting a seed, 1 seed, next day 2 seed, next day 3 seed, next day 4, until they got a whole row. And they're like, whoa. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. This is gonna pop up just like those radishes that pop up like in a week. I'm so ready. And they're like sitting there taking care of it. A week goes by, they're like, what the pickle? So they dig it up, they look at it, nah, put it back down. Wait another week. This time they're waiting 2 weeks. Dig it up, look at it. What the heck? Give me a broken seed. And the guy down the street, he does it. He's not concerned about it. He just did it as a hobby. He just planted his rows, one after the other, space it out day by day. I was like, all right, whatever, I'm just gonna take care of it. Do whatever. I have my corn over here. I don't know why pineapples and things, but I'm gonna take care of these over here. So he goes, he's not paying attention. A pineapple takes 18 months to harvest. And after that, it takes double the amount of a baby. And then after you pull the harvest, you plant one more and it's 9 months. And then it's done. Imagine the process of that journey of the farmers trying to discover, like, why is this not planting like my radish? My radish takes 1 week. A pineapple takes 18 months. But imagine a farmer picking it up, looking at it, putting it back, picking it up, looking at it, putting it back. By the end of that, the soil is going to be so inflamed and irritated and not absorbing nutrients because it's been milled so many times. This is our digestion. This is our fear of trusting our body to heal. But I want to emphasize the fact that because you're here, you're planting a seed. Big or small, it's planting the seed. And planting the seed in lifestyles that change and, changing the trajectory. It's not even just for us. It's for the people around us. It's for the lineage of our family. It's beyond us. But planting the seed and waiting takes time and trust, and you're doing that right now. So just I know we get irritated. I know. And you might be thinking, I just want it right now. It's been 10 years. I just want to feel good. It's been quadruple the amount of pineapples. But have you been consistent in one thing? It's not to say we can't try other things. But is it the extremes that we're doing where it's we're fasting, we're not fasting, we're low FODMAP, we're keto, we're doing these extreme things on our body? Are we doing that? Or are we focusing on healing our trauma? Focusing on lowering our chronic stress levels? Focusing on getting into a consistent eating routine? Are we focusing on the things that matter, that can be adapted into a lifestyle, not a quick fix diet plan? This is how that changes. This is how that glue alchemizes and it pulls together and it holds the bowl. No more leaky water things. none of that stuff getting through. Because we took the time to observe, and then we put the glue and it comes together to make the bowl. Are you guys following this? I love that concept because it's one of those things that we have to look at it of like, what if it does work out? What if it did? What if I just stayed instead of starting again, stopping again? What if I actually believed the one thing I chose was the right thing? Because nothing in this life is on accident. Let me read this here, see. I'm on a mini pill medically advised by my doctor, but that gives me irregular cycles. I'm not concerned, but that's helping me. I'm now concerned that that's not helping me go forward. Oh, you mean like birth control, Lindsay? Is that what you're talking about? Definitely guilty of committing to all the quick fixes and never consistent. Girl, I feel you. It's one of those things where it's like, I just got off the call with the Labyrinth where that's what we're starting out now, and we're diving into, the foundations. Like, where did we learn these behaviors that we can't be trusted? And I made an Instagram post about that where it's like, what makes us believe this? Where did we get this impatience from? For me, it was my family. Like, we love quick fixes. In the diet industry, like, that's what I was taught about in school. And so dive deeper into that, Brady, of where did you learn that, of why you can't sit still, or why the inconsistencies, and see if what would feel like a better thinking thought to that, or a better feeling behavior surrounded in that, so that you feel a little bit more comfortable in whatever nutrition routine and lifestyle routine that you pick. What's that more comfortable feeling thought in that? Yeah, sorry. You guys call it the mini pill? I've never heard that. Kind of love that more. Yeah, so I am not a doctor. By all means, nothing on the internet is medical advice. I personally don't recommend birth control, ever. Because it's a fake bleed, it's synthetic hormones. So, I mean, case in point, it's just synthetic. And so anytime you come off of the pill, whatever you're taking the pill for, whatever your doctor has you on it for, is just a hormone mimicking device. So as soon as you come off of it, say if you want to have kids or any of that kind of stuff, your symptoms are going to come back tenfold. And yeah, it affects IBS, it affects digestion, it affects liver support because it's giving fake estrogen levels, all that kind of stuff. Definitely something, in Gut Recharge, we talk a lot about liver support and all that kind of stuff. I am going to start doing things and adding a module in there about coming off of medications as well this round, just so we can dive deeper into that, because it is a big thing. I had implant on in my arm for a long time, and that's what also led to the mess of things that was happening in my body. I realized once I got that in, my mindset, my brain, my anxiety, my depression, my insecurities all came through because the estrogen it was weird. But again, entirely up to you. We all have our own personal decisions. It's just something, if you have questions around it, lean into that curiosity. Something I always teach my clients is stay teachable and stay curious, or stay curious and stay teachable. It's not ever to say something is right or wrong. It's just to say, we got to lean into it. Okay, I understand it with 100%. Yeah, I mean, lean into that, Lindsay, like where you're thinking it's not something that's fit for you. Then trust your intuition, girlfriend. This is how we get body trust. You know what I mean? Okay, so we talked about glue, the alchemy, all that kind of stuff. This is my favorite part. With you on that, as soon as I had my implant out, my mood swings calmed, my symptoms got relief. Wondering if the coil is the same. So with the coil, that is, it's supposed to be non-hormonal. It is relatively new, though. I call it the sperm killer. But it is relatively new. So just like birth control was new for our mother's generations, and now we're seeing the after effects of that, the coil is new. So we can't give that a definite answer. Most of them don't have hormones to them. The copper IUD, that's what you're talking about, I assume. Most of them don't have hormones in them, but could copper impact things? Could do all these other things? Maybe. But yeah. And Lindsay, Better Cycle, look into gut recharge then, because that has to do with liver and estrogen elimination, and that's what is pulling all these things in your body, which makes sense with the anxiety and IBS. Okay, so covered glue, covered patients, file. So the next thing, and what is the biggest thing, and I feel like piggybacks off of all this stuff, when we're gluing the bowl together, we hold it, we have the patients, it's now this thing. Have you ever glued something and it's like bumpy? Like you touch it and you can feel the excess glue. You know what I mean? So you have to take a file, not quickly, not like sandpaper, doing the himmy-jimmy. I don't know what the himmy-jimmy is, but it felt right. And you have to file it down with patience, with understanding, with getting rid of the excess. Getting rid of the excess. This is why when I opened up with the patience and the understanding and putting the pieces back together and looking at it and trying different things, we needed that. We needed to get that so that we could get the bowl that we wanted, that felt good to us, to come together. This is why nutrition is not a one-size-shoes approach. This is why whenever you're looking at something, you need to be looking at lifestyle adaptation, not elimination, diets. This is, if you've noticed, when I talk about my programs and I talk about what I do, it's nutrition routines. Because it's something you do for a lifetime. Just like I wake up in the morning and I brush my teeth because it's a routine. It's things like that. And so when we pay attention to these things, everything changes. So you're filing it down, and this is where self-inquiry comes in without judgment. So what do I mean by that? How many of you have tried elimination diets? No. Let me start with this one because I can relate to this. How many of you have gotten the food sensitivity kits, had to come back, read it, and went, holy pickles, that's everything I eat. But because you are such a determined woman, which is why we're internet friends, you went, I'm in it for the long haul. Like, I am going to fix this, so I'm going to eliminate these foods. I'm in. And you go, you eliminate. You're like, okay, this kind of sucks, but 21 days, whatever, it's not that long. But you get to like a week and a half in, you're like at day 10. You're like, I need toast. I can't do this. Pretty, I love you. Yeah. And you're like, I can't do this. I am done. I can't do it anymore. I'm out. And instead of using this as an inquiry moment of going, that didn't work. How many of you sit with your shadow self and she comes in and she goes, told you couldn't do it. You're not disciplined enough. You're never going to heal this. This is literally all your fault. Like, so your mother was right. You can't do anything. Why do you keep trying? I know, Lindsay. How many of you felt that way? And then, instead of listening, being like, wow, this actually isn't working for me, we do it again in like 2 weeks. We're like, actually, I'm going to try it again. I feel determined now. And the same thing happens. But then we keep building up this narrative inside of us that we can't be trusted because we're not disciplined, because we can't keep our word, because we love wine or cheese or seeing our friends. Like, God freaking forbid. Every time I end up with so much self-hate. Right? Who else can agree with that statement? Who else? Like, every time I ever did one of these things, that's why I would go so harsh on myself. And I realized all these rules I was putting on myself, every single time that Monday came, I would fast for like 24 hours. Like, girl, you don't have a period. Why are you not eating? You have anxiety. Why are you not eating? I would do these things. And I realized this process of this journey of going through these things, it was because in my mind, this is what my learned behavior. Growing up, my mother was so strict with me. You know, anyone else have a leash as a baby? Me. Me. I had a leash. I had tracking devices on my cell phone as a kid. I had, you know, my door was locked inside out, so I couldn't go out. Yeah. I was trained from a very young age. Laura Martin cannot be trusted. If she goes outside of her box and her schedule and her routines and the strictness of life, she can't be trusted. Granted, I've gone to a lot of therapy for this, so it's fine. But I didn't know that. I remember specifically the moment when I was talking about all this stuff and she's like, how much do you work? And I was like, I don't know, minimum like 16 hours a day, like all day, all the time. She's like, why? I was like, I don't know, is that what you're supposed to do? And she's like, and like your workouts and your nutrition, like how is that? And I was like, I eat this stuff, like I know how much it is, I weigh this food, these are all my bad foods, I eat it these times every single time, which still kind of do. I make sure I do at 45, it's like 7 or 5:45 in the morning, even though I slept 40, all these kind of things. She's like, who locks you into that box? Like, who locked you in there and threw away the key? Who grounded you and made you feel like you can't be trusted if you go outside of the norm? You run your own business. You have your own space. You're an adult now. Why do you keep grounding yourself? And I was like, I remember that, like, maybe you're feeling it right now, like it sunk into my sacral. Like, I was like, whoa, what? And I would always have these guilts, like, when I would go out and, like, play with my friends on the weekends. Like, at the time, I was still, like, 23, 24 years old. Why would I not go party? And I would have so much guilt, all this stuff, and then I would go on the cleanse in the morning, Monday through Friday, and this whole scenario would rinse, repeat, give it a different name, give it a different diet, try a different type of cleanse, but it was the same thing. Can you relate to that? And it was all these different methods and these trying and these, you know, going, and it was, honestly, looking back on that now, I realize it was testing, but with judgment. You know, I wasn't paying attention to the fact that my body didn't want to go on a cleanse. She didn't need that. She needed rest. She needed love. She needed grace, permission, and she needed science to understand how and why she was doing this. Food wasn't the problem, it was the lifestyle. But because I was so afraid to look at it, I kept all the excess. I kept all the glue on my bowl. Forever thinking I was wrong and couldn't be trusted. Up until recently. Exactly, Brady. My harshest critic is me. I push myself so hard I have no idea why. sit with that. Journal on that later today of where does that come from? For me, I know that's my mom. God rest her soul. She was a very strict, intrusive, lack of boundaries woman. I know why. Like, I know why. There's no anger, but it led to a lot of misplaced lack of trust in things. And so I kept all the excess, and it felt so heavy. I carried it around all the time, no matter all the good I was doing. Got myself out of the relationships, got myself off the pills and out of addiction, like calmed down everything in my body. I still carried it because I wasn't testing with inquiry and understanding where am I at. I was just piling on all this stuff. You know, they call it like spiritual bypassing or nutritional masks or all kind of things. Like, I was doing that, and it was good, self-development and all that kind of stuff, but it was just so much that I felt like if I fell off one way, it was like my life was over and I've screwed it all up. And it's like, that's not how that works, actually. We don't need all the stuff. But if we're not testing and we're not tracking what's working and what's not working, without being insecure about it, without thinking that it means something more, without thinking it's, you know, pass or fail because, you know, thank you, education system, that's how we think everything works. That's not how this stuff works. To get rid of the excess, we have to try things. You're not going to like it all the time. It's not going to work for me. I thought I loved meditation. I do not. I just can't get into it. I find myself in meditative states when I'm out for a walk or when I'm writing or when I'm editing photos or creating content. Like, I get meditative in that way. That's one for me. I thought, you know, I had to have the same morning routine. I had to fit it this way. I had to do all these kind of things. And I did for a bit. But my life looks so different now. And it's okay. It's okay that things shift over time. But if we're clinging to things because we think it keeps us safe and we think this is the only way, and if we straight out, we can't be trusted and our whole world's going to implode and our bowl is going to keep shattering and it's never going to stick together, that's heavy. So we have to file off the excess. So where in your life do you have excess you need to file off? What did and did not work, you know? And we have to look at it. Oftentimes we want to go so quick because we don't want to look at what worked, what didn't, and what do I want to do differently, because we don't want to take responsibility or we don't want to be at fault. The best thing I ever did for my life was realize I am responsible for everything. I am at fault for few. I am not at fault for my mom, for my eating disorders, for the trauma, for the ex that I had. Like, I'm not at fault for that. But I am responsible for how I responded to the death of my mom and how I took it out of my body. I'm responsible for not getting help for my eating disorder. I'm responsible for not leaving that relationship earlier than I did. But do I give my soul and my human grace and permission? Of course. But if I didn't look under the bed, I would have lived in fear my whole life. And we pile things on that way. You know, Thomas Edison, it took him 1,000 tries to make the light bulb. 1,000. Can you imagine him showing up and he's working with a scientist and they're like, oh, did we try that already? And he's like, maybe, try it again. Did we do that? I don't really know. Did that work a little bit? Try it again. No. They took note. They did self-inquiry. It didn't mean they were right or wrong. They were just one step closer to getting light, to come out of a light bulb. You know, there's that quote, he found 1,000 ways how to not make a light bulb. So whatever you've done up to this moment, you've just found out all the ways you don't like to do it. And that's all that means. That is literally all that means. It doesn't mean you passed or you failed or you're wrong or you're right or you're weak or you're strong or you have no discipline or you do. You have everything that you needed to get you to this point. And now it's time to file it off, to get rid of the excess, to take what you learn and continue to grow in that and just do it with inquiry. I didn't really like when I ate that. I wonder why. Does it have to do with my metabolism, which is exactly what we, cover inside of Gut Recharge, right? Like does it mean you eat all the foods that hurt you? No. But can you sit there and go, why didn't I digest that well? Was I stressed? Did I eat standing up? Did I eat hunched over? Have I been working on my metabolism? Or am I just eliminating things and wrecking the diversity in stomach acid? What am I doing here? And then we work from there. That's all it is. And then from there, we start to paint the bowl. So what they do in Kintsugi is, it's not a cover-up. It's not a cover-up. The gold paint is to highlight the journey, to show where you've been and how far you've traveled and what you learned and what you get to share with not only you, but your family, your friends, the people around you. You get to, not in a do this kind of way, but people see this light. They see your gold, they see your journey, and they're like, what did you do? You know what led you to me, right? It's one of those things where it's what did you do? How did you do that? And then you get to be the conduit of that. And that's where the domino effect starts to come, because instead of hiding our scars, hiding our wounds, being afraid of things, trying to mask it, trying to, cover up the Band-Aids, we're sitting there and it's just I did that. I healed my IBS. I overcame trauma. I changed the way that relationships are handled, and my kids aren't going to see diets. They're going to be able to just look at food normally. What a world that will be. It gets to be the journey of a lifetime where it's not we're a victim and this stuff happens and this is the thing that keeps me isolated in my house because I'm in so much pain and I can't wear the clothes that I want and I can't do the things I want to do. It doesn't become that. Something I emphasize a lot inside of my programs is how you get anywhere is how you stay there. Who have you become along this journey? Do you feel like you've become a better you, an excited you, someone that's I'm learning, and not everything's perfect. I'm tired half the time. I'm wearing baggy clothes sometimes, but I feel very connected because I'm just learning right now, and I'm staying curious, and I'm doing it. Do you feel that? Or is it more I can't look at myself in the mirror? I don't want to leave my house. I don't even know how to talk to my friends and family about it anymore because it just hurts the soul, it hurts the body, I don't know. Because it's not to say that the pain just goes away tomorrow because of the way we view things and do things. But we don't have to suffer. We don't have to get lost in the narratives of all the things and, even on bad days. Even on days when you're bloated and farty and how do you treat yourself? Do you get mad at your body and be like, what the heck, I fed you vegetables, why are you doing that? Or do you just take a bath, put on a movie, care for yourself like you would your child? Imagine the conversations you have with yourself if you had that with your best friend? If she came to you and she's like, my clothes, like, it's just, ugh. I can't go out, I feel fat. Like, I can't do this. What would you do with her? Okay, so let's stay in. Wanna watch a movie? What do you need? You wanna journal a bit? Do you want a heating pad? This is a moment of self-inquiry. Of understanding who you are and what this journey is gonna make of you. Like imagine if your anxiety and your IBS were gone in 12 months. They were gone. What in your life would change? How would you show up? Who would you be to your friends and family? Like, what would that look like to you? If all the seeds that you planted during pineapple season blossomed in 12 months, what would you be doing? This time next year, I'm going to read through your comments. I'm so sorry about your loss. I love you. Thank you, Lindsay. Oh my God, the pain when it's so bad. Both personally. Some days I hide in baggy clothes. Others just shut myself away because my soul hurt. And I don't know what to say or do anymore. See, Brady, with that, it's exact, and that's okay. You know? Like, some days you find confidence and you're like, I'm gonna rock it and I'm gonna do things. And other days, it's you treat your human. That's okay. But is it something that we're leaning in with kindness and grace and permission, that we're in a healing body right now? And that it's going to ebb and flow? Like, we have this misconception that healing is like this. Like, I ate a vegetable, I learned how to nourish myself, bing! Winner, winner, chicken dinner! But really, healing, what I've seen, it goes, we gotta start. Then we learn how to nourish ourselves. This is where, like, the metabolic function and restoration comes in. This is what we cover in Gut Recharge, right? The foundations of that. And then it goes down a little bit. Because now you got to challenge your relationship to food. Which is why we created the labyrinth. And your subconscious and your habits and the things around that. Because it's hard to unravel your IBS, food anxiety brain. And then you go up and you got to learn about boundaries and all that kind of stuff. And then it goes down a little bit again. Because you got to learn about energy and being confident and all that. And then you got to go up again. And then you're like, now I'm healed. I get it. But it's like this. So it's okay if you have to. I'm wearing a giant baggy dress right now. Look at this. Look at this thing. With tights up to my nipples. I feel so comfy and cute. Because that's a human. I know I'm going to be getting my period next week. So I'm not going to put on a pair of jeans today. Because it's going to make me feel chubby and I don't want to do that. Especially knowing I got to show up here. Like, and it's okay. And yesterday, you want to know what I did? Instead of, I had this whole thing. I was like, I want to go celebrate and do this whole thing. I was like, I'm so freaking tired, actually. These things make me very exhausted. Surprisingly, I'm an introvert, So I was like, actually, I'm not going to do anything. And I just sat on my balcony. And I drank red wine. And I cooked fish. And then I watched Netflix. Because that's what my human need. And that's what we got to do. Like, I could have gotten mad being like, you were supposed to write this ebook and this email and this whatever. Like, whatever. Do it tomorrow. Well, not today. Tomorrow, Wednesday. Give your human some grace. I need to be more confident, embrace everything rather than... Yes, girlfriend. Like, Lindsay, this is that's what we're doing inside of the playbook. I'll talk about it once I finish this little snippet, because then we're going to be finished. But that's what we're doing inside of the playbook. Is all about the confidence and understanding our self-talk and getting the play-by-play on that. Hence the playbook. But yeah, that's what we're walking through inside that, I think. I love being comfy, so true. Let's enjoy it rather than worry. Yes, girlfriend. Loving myself and being okay with giving myself time to trust. Fish and red wine. Sounds lush, I know. It's quite bad. Even though, like, red wine doesn't go with fish, but I don't have any Prosecco, so whatever. Loving myself and being okay with being myself, giving myself time to just be. Girlfriend, what is stopping you right now from doing that? This goes back to the first point I made of what is the rush. If the context of your life is healing, and the context of your life is health, how can you treat your human with grace right now as you're on this healing journey, as you're going through Kintsugi and you're repairing the things and you're going through golden repair? You know, Kin is gold, Sugi is rejoining, so golden rejoining. That's what this is. You know, and, you know, this is why I recommend viewing it in this way, is just looking at first, like, what are the things that are tearing us down? What are our belief systems? What are, you know, our daily habits? Why do we keep jumping around? What is this all doing? And then how are we rebuilding it? Are we finding consistency? Are we finding self-trust? Are we able to just self-experiment without judgment or worry, and some things are going to work and some things are not, but are we able to do that without that defining us? That's how things change. That's where I recommend the starting points in this. Obviously, there's things like restoring our metabolism, and that's where it comes to the science and the soul, right? Like, this is what gut recharge is. It's taking you through those steps so that you no longer feel confused by your body, so you feel like, you know, you have trust, you have this inquiry, you know what's going on, so nothing else leaves you. And then from there, we have this self-discovery journey where it's not so heavy. It's just information. And that's it. The pressure I put on myself and the unrealistic expectations I have of me, it's crazy. No one puts that pressure on me but me. I need to learn how to stop. Well, there's your invitation, isn't it? I feel like a lot of us, I feel like I could like that right now. I'll go back through and I'll give you a like. Can relate to that. IBS is a nervous system issue. Every single one of my clients is type A. High pressure, trying to prove themselves, trying to belong somewhere, which is ultimately what led to a disordered relationship with food, which ultimately led to health issues along the way. Because our brains have been running so fast for so long that it shut down our metabolism. And because our metabolism was shut down, we now have extensive food sensitivities. It's fixable, though. I see it daily in my programs, in my master classes, and my coaching. In my life. I'm thinking already just wearing something comfy, I will look at it in a totally different way. If I feel comfy, then I must feel great. I need to love every moment of life and find good in everything. Exactly, Lindsay. Spot on. Like, what makes you feel good? If it's a dingy shirt and all this kind of stuff, like, if that makes you fine, flaunt it. You know, like, it's one of these things where it's like, for me, I literally don't own sweatpants, but like comfy clothes, big tunics, underwear, and my boyfriend's big shirt. Like, I love that. I feel the most me in those things. And my human loves it. I honestly, like, that's when I feel the most sexy. You know, it's just like, just being human. Giving your human grace in the healing process. You're on your way, you're here. Which means you're on your way. Hearing that it's fixable makes me smile so much, like I've been holding my breath for so long and I'm just letting go. Oh. I love that. And so that wraps up this masterclass. I'm going to move into talking about the continuations of this, but I just want to, before I move into that, celebrate the hell out of you guys. I truly mean it. I was on, some calls yesterday and voice noting some of you that have been in here, that it really does mean the world to me just to have your time and to be here and to be in this energy. Like, I feel it so much right here in my heart with y'all. And like, even though we're in different parts of the world, talking through a little box connected to the internet, I feel like I'm sitting with you guys. And the way you guys are like celebrating each other and liking and doing this whole thing, like it shows that there is growth in this community and there's potential, and it doesn't have to feel so isolating and scary. And the fact that you're freaking here. You took your time. That is no small feat to me. Time is the one thing we never get back. And the fact that you're using it to inquire more, to stay curious and teachable, to learn more about yourself, and to challenge what doesn't feel right to you. That is a scary thing to move outside of, and an empowering thing to step into. I want that to land for you. You're incredible. So life is a series of, moments that lead to certain events in time, and all of your series of events, no matter where they've taken you in your life, they led you here. Allow that excess to fall away. Allow that criticism. Allow the things that feel so heavy to just release, because it led you here. And spend some time celebrating you today. I love you, ladies. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And so I'm going to now move into talking about the playbook and Get Recharged. So the playbook is the follow-up to this series. If you enjoyed this is where you're going to want to be. This is the how-to of recalibrating our nervous system and finding that body trust and confidence again. Because inside of Gut Recharge, it's the triangle, right? Mindset, nutrition, lifestyle. And so one of the problems, right, is not feeling confident, not knowing what's going on, not trusting what our body is doing. And so over those 2 days, I'm going to give you the play-by-play. The step-by-step practice. We're going to do some inquiry. You're going to get your downloadables. You're going to get the journal prompts, all the kind of things that have changed my life, changed my client's life. To really get back into communication with your body again, so you can really start to know how to eat, know the right steps to take, really start to build things, and ultimately have that body trust again. And so this is 2 days of modules and 1 day of Q&A, so you get to ask me questions, just like this, and you get lifetime access. So you can come in, check that out. Right now, that is $44. That will be going up to $67 tomorrow at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The other thing that is currently on early bird, or really it's just early bird to you guys because you guys are here, is Get Recharge, which is our signature program. We've been doing this for 2 years now, I believe. Hands down, the thing that has helped me breathe again when it comes to nutrition and science. Remember how I told you the chart? We have to learn what nutrition is. Why? Why does digestion work this way? What foods do we eat? How do we eat? What is stressed? Like all of the science, but with the soul, so we don't feel so confused anymore when we go to our doctor's appointments and lost in translation, just what the heck is lactobacillus? Like what? And so we're talking about that. We're talking about cravings. We're talking about body confidence. We're talking about depression and anxiety and all the kind of things that actually matter in these conversations beyond low FODMAP, because that doesn't actually freaking matter. It's 4 weeks of modules. You get lifetime access to those modules. And then every Friday, we have a Q&A. So whatever you learn in those modules, because those are pre-recorded on Teachable, whatever you learn in there, you get to come and ask the questions. Relate it to your personal life, relate it to, just questions that came up along the way. So you're never left in the dark. Never. There's 4 weeks of recipes. You get to keep that for a lifetime. Like it's this whole thing. And I'm going to teach you how to build out your own health plans. I'm going to teach you what I know when it comes to the science side of stuff and how this has completely revolutionized the way that I view gut health. My clients, the people, they sit and it's just getting back to eating normally again, because we're actually getting to the root cause of what's causing inflammation and food sensitivities and cramping and diarrhea and cravings and brain fog and mood swings. Like, we're getting deep on that. And so, like I said, it's the 4 weeks we're going through all of that connection, going through the free method. So FREE, Foundations, Reprogram, Explore, Evolve. So that you get to the root cause of what's causing IBS anxiety and ultimately get your life back. So there's no more pain, there's no more confusion, there's no more food obsession and fear. There's all the body wisdom and trust and celebration. It's such a juicy experience. And this is the last time, actually, we're going to be running this one in 2021. And the last time it's going to be at this price. So next year we're adding more, like, whatever, prices are just going up because the demand. So if you want it at this price, you get to get it for a lifetime. If you're feeling the pull and you're feeling ready, I invite you to come join me. You know, we often get conflicted when it comes to money or time or self-reassurance. Those are the 3 things I often hear. So let's talk about them, right? So when it comes to money, money's the thing we can always make back. 1. 2, I never want anyone to be in a questionable predicament. If the free stuff is all you can do, that's okay. We collapse time. This all is just an extension of what we do inside of the signature program. The thing about money is it's scary to invest in ourselves at first. I started low when I first started investing in myself, and now I've invested hundreds of thousands of dollars in my healing, whether it's business, mental health, all that kind of stuff. So I get you when it's scary. But when the timing's right, the timing's right. And we have to question ourselves of what is that fear actually? Is it actually the money? Because I'm sick right now and I don't have the money, but wouldn't you want to get unsick so you could make money? But also, you know, my thing was I didn't believe in myself, that I'd stick to it or any of that kind of stuff. So I want to put that to rest because, again, it's not a diet. I would never do that. It's a lifestyle revamp, recharge that restores your metabolism, gets you back to living your life revitalized, recharged, and empowered. You showed up here and it was free. Imagine the investment. That's how that stuff works. It really does just come back down to what is our belief in ourselves. And just because it's 4 weeks doesn't mean you gotta crunch it all in 4 weeks. You take it at your own bite. And you move in from there. That's the beauty of creating a lifestyle of your dreams. You get to make it how you want. And so that is starting the 3rd week of November. And it'll be going for 4 weeks, which means we get to go through the holidays together. We get to go through family dramas. We get to go through triggers. We get to go through alcohol and weekends and events. A lot of time people are like, it's the holidays, I don't know. It's like, I think that's the perfect time. Because that's when life is happening. And so, if you feel called, that investment is currently $697. Payment plan is available. That price will be going up again on Wednesday. And again, it's my favorite program. I'm getting tongue-tied on it because I'm like, it's my favorite one so that we can hit those 12 months goals of being fixable and being the women we become and desire to become. And we get to continue the conversation and create sisterhood and create growth. And so you guys can find the information on all this in that post that my teen dropped where it says, it's like an image with the breakdown of what's in there, and the links are on top of that. And then from there, I mean, if you want more one-on-one coaching, if that's more your route, if you're looking for other arenas, just let me know. We got stuff, but these are the two things that are currently going on right now live. So, I love you. This has been such a healing 2 days. I hope to see you on the internet, whether in the programs or a free Facebook community or on Instagram. But I love you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for sharing your energy. Happy healings.